Good morning, guys. Welcome to a very special edition of the Mid-Morning Show. Please excuse my sniffling as it's very cold. It's below freezing here in New York. As you can see, right behind us is the very famous Christmas tree. We're at the Rockefeller Center here. We're going to be taking a tour of New York City, and it's going to be a great show, guys. We're actually going to be shadowing Stephen Colbert later on, and let's see where New York City takes us. Standing right here in front of the famous Macy's in New York City. Now this is actually considered one of the biggest stores in the world, and they put on the parade, they got a great Christmas show, and it's pretty awesome.
Here in front of the plaza. Many of you may know this place from Home Alone 2, but I know this place from my favorite movie, Eloise at the Plaza, which is actually the reason why I'm here. I'm about to go inside and look for Eloise, and if I get lost, then Donald Trump will just point me in the right direction.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
I'm walking here, you get out of the way!
Ninja Turtles.
Way too small. Micro Ninja Turtles.
Hi, Bowman here outside of Lombardi's Pizzeria. This is the first pizzeria opened in the United States in 1905. We just ate here and it was delicious.
Questo è Poco Italia. Abbiamo mangiato la pizza e abbiamo un sacco di divertimento.
Zishi Tang Green Tiao Wao Min Yo Handio Jiao Shou Ti Bao.
Behind me is the ball drop, the iconic ball drop. Right now it says 2016, but later on it'll say 2017, of course.
All library books checked out before winter break must be renewed or returned to the library. PHS Radio with Edge meets Tuesday, January 10th at 7:50 in room 1050.
It was right here where Beethoven first decided he would paint the Sistine Chapel. You just can't make this stuff up. It was on this rock that George Washington decided he wanted to one day be on the quarter. and thus an American tradition was born. What many people don't know is the feud between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton actually started right here over a game of checkers. The game turned deadly, but now we have a great musical about it. It was right here in New York City where Robert Burns first posed the question, why are we still riding with feathers? It was on this bench that Benjamin Franklin gave up on his love for flying kites. He never flew again. I'm standing right here in front of the statue of Fitz Green Halleck. Many of you might not know who he is. Neither do I. It was right here in Central Park where King Kong first dreamed up his plans to climb the Empire State Building. True story. You can look it up. It was here that 6 friends decided they would play in a fountain. What's that? This isn't the right one? They won't know.
I'm here in our very own mid-morning Times Square studios, guys, and we got Cutter Nielsen exploring what looks like Central Park, and I understand there's a lot of rare species out there. Can you tell me how many you've been discovering and maybe interviewing?
Now, if you guys stay really quiet, you'll be able to see this amazing squirrel right here. They are just incredibly rare creatures, just absolutely amazing. We don't have a lot of them back in Dallas, and if we do, they're in the zoo, but out here in Central Park, they're in the wild. Just amazing. Wow.
I've definitely seen many squirrels here in Dallas, and I don't think I've ever seen any in the zoo for that nature, but okay.
Now what we have here are the incredibly rare Southeast Asian lobsterback ducks. Incredibly rare. We rarely get to see them out here. This is such a treat that wow, I just can't even believe this. Just amazing.
Yeah, I can't believe that either. I've never heard of a Southeast Asian lobsterback duck, unless you're a cryptozoologist, which is a pseudoscience for zoology, and you're discovering new species. I don't believe you one bit.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen because of the way it is.
Okay, you are just giving it names for everything, and unless you're doing your research, I'm not believing you, okay?
Okay, now Abner, I want you to get a good look at these creatures down here. They're one of the gems of Central Park. Really just amazing creatures. They are known as umans, or as the ancient Incans called them, the standing gorillas. Really just looks like to me like they're hunting for food right now. You really never know with these guys. They're just, wow, I cannot believe we're seeing this right now.
Standing gorillas? Amazing. Standing gorillas. This is just getting obnoxious, Cutter. Honestly, ridiculous. Well, you know, you've interviewed standing gorillas, little furry animals, and even a tree. Did you actually meet anybody out there in Central Park? Did you meet any friends?
Okay, so can you explain to me like what you're doing, what I just saw? Running. Why are you running? Like, what is that?
For fitness.
You do that like for enjoyment and fitness? People in New York are crazy. Okay.
Cutter, don't you actually run cross country? I'm pretty sure we've got a clip or at least a picture of that. But all right, guys. Well, that was Cutter Nielsen out in Central Park. We'll actually be right back after this quick commercial break.
See, now, Todd, that's what a band looks like. That's how you do it.
The 15th annual Boys Volleyball Tournament for all classes is around the corner. Boys, see your class president for tryout info and signups. The cost is a $5 entry fee to place your name on the roster. Practices are mandatory.
Welcome back. Now, the point of this trip, guys, we went to New York and we went to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and the experience personally for me was absolutely incredible, but we want to give you guys a little taste of the behind the scenes and what it takes to make an actual television series ready to air. Let's take a look.
Stephen, idea that Vladimir Putin is fantastic hunk is not pro-Russian thing, it's just fact. Disney World Coca-Cola, am I right?
I was stoked, first of all, to go in the first place, getting the email and everything from Colbert.
The experience as a whole was pretty awesome and eye-opening.
The trip was definitely like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Everything we'd worked for, all of our dreams that we'd wanted, in a sense, I feel like they finally came true.
But yeah, once I saw him walk in, like, I literally grabbed Landon and I was just shocked to see it because it was pretty cool.
Yeah, he grabbed my leg really tight. He was like, "It's Colbert," and then his secretary bought him a giant burrito.
You know, once we actually got there, first of all, pack many layers because it was freezing. But second of all, when we, you know, the whole point of New York, you know, it was great being there in the Christmas time, but actually going to see Colbert and, you know, like the writing staff and the comedy writers and the producers and all of that, and like the actual behind the scenes footage of what they do was just phenomenal.
$1 million and like, I don't know, you guys cover me?
I'm gonna cover Ben Carson, okay? That's
Yeah,
all.
I already covered Ben Carson, exactly. But I like the idea. Tom was like, who's poorer, the poorest major league owner or the poorest member of Trump's cabinet?
Yeah, it was pretty cool seeing, like, being in that meeting room and seeing them communicate with each other and everyone just sharing their ideas.
I think the writers' meeting, that was really big for me because I think when I was watching everybody in there, like everyone, like there was no shooting down of other people's ideas. There was no like bashing on it or like laughing at other people. They would take an idea that maybe wasn't the greatest, but then it would just bounce back and forth, and eventually it would turn into something pretty awesome.
Pretty cool experience on the side of production-wise. Like they have an actual production meeting to see how long it's going to take to set up and tear down, how many bodies it takes, and then what the actual skit is. Can they actually do it? Last-minute things that they always do. Like we were there and they did the waterboarding thing while we were just sitting there, photoshopped it right on the spot. All the things that they have reserved and already pre-made was pretty nice to see that we can probably do that too now.
There was like a really big difference from watching the show live, like in the set, than watching it on TV. Mainly just like everything that goes on, like when the cameras aren't rolling, like on commercial breaks and everything, like how the band comes out and plays, and then before how there's a comedian to warm up the audience and stuff like that, which you don't see on TV, but it was really cool.
I'd say the one thing I learned is just to be yourself, because if you really deserve to be in a place where you are, and at some level of that, if that's your dream, and you work hard at it, and that's the one thing you push for, you're gonna get there. And I think you can't get that pretending to be someone else.
If we think it's funny, then it's probably funny. We don't need to worry about how everyone else is gonna think about it.
He told us there's such thing as good trouble, which you know, it's not like bad trouble. You don't get into trouble. It's just like pushing the proverbial limits. You attract attention, attract viewers. It's good trouble. You get yourself in the spotlight. You get more viewership, stuff like that, and just you just push the limits of things because you want to do something nobody else has ever done.
Just getting to go out there and see everything we saw, and getting to work with Colbert and seeing their meetings and how all that stuff goes, the whole thing as a whole was just incredible.
All of the brain power that's put into it, all of these hilarious minds thinking and just going back and forth to make just one episode of their show is ridiculous. And it's a lot of knowledge, I guess, that we gained from going there, and a lot of knowledge that we'll be using to put forth in our upcoming episodes. That's it here from our show in New York. I'd like to personally again thank, of course, Mr. Stephen Colbert, Chris Litch, and all of the producers there at The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS, guys. It was a fantastic trip, and we really appreciate it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks here from The Mid-Morning Show.